men want to be treated like princesses today. A lot of men are not willing to be manly. Like, men need to step up in this generation. I've noticed this topic circulating a lot lately, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit because I'm no longer in the dating scene. But this topic has really been catching my attention, and I kind of want to sit down and have a conversation about it and see what you guys have to say about this specific topic. Splitting the bill. Who should pay? I really feel if you're going on a first date, as a man, you should not expect the woman to go 50-50 on the first date. You're trying to get to know someone. You want to put out a good first impression. And I really feel if the bill comes and as a man, you're like, okay, so how do you want to split the bill?
So guys, is it card, cash? So is it going halves, yeah?
Is that alright? Is that alright? Is that bad, is it? I don't know. No?
That is automatically so awkward for the woman you took out on this date. I really mean that, because just imagine going out on a first date, ladies, and it doesn't have to be a fancy restaurant. Don't go to a fancy restaurant on your first date. Go get a slice of pizza. Go get like brunch, something light. 100% my stance is men should not expect a woman to go 50-50 on the first date. Say what you will with that. Hi, and welcome back to the channel. This is a segment on my YouTube page where I just sit down and have real conversations. I'm Momna, and if you haven't already, definitely hit that subscribe button so we can continue to have all of these amazing conversations. Now let's get to business. Look, if you're asking someone out on a date, whether you're a man or a woman, I just feel like it is proper etiquette for the man to cover the bill that day. And this topic is so important to me because I feel like this conversation is not had enough early on in many relationships. You guys should 100% sit down and discuss your expectations within the relationship. Sure, okay, say he pays the first date, but going forward, if this keeps being a thing, set the dynamic. Are you guys going to continue on with the man paying for everything, or do you want to have a 50-50 relationship? Of course, finances, it depends highly on each person's financial situation, depending on what kind of job they have, how many hours, bills, etc. But I just really feel like this generation has lost that courtesy as being taken out on a first date. Like, I've seen posts like where the woman would ask the guy out on the date, because let's say you're like online dating, or if you just knew someone you wanted to go out with, the woman would ask the man out first, right? Which happens a lot today. In that case, I think some men somehow expect the lady to kind of cover the tab that day, which is so weird to me, because what happened to being a gentleman? I really think this generation is starting to lose that gentleman mentality. It's all, who did this? Who asked that? Why? Like, it's weird. I don't think I like the direction our generations are headed towards. As a lady, when you do go out on that first date and the gentleman is like, hey, don't worry, I got the bill today. You might be like, oh, are you sure? Are you sure? I can definitely split this. And then if the man is like, no, it's the first date, I got it, don't worry, that feels so nice. And as a woman, wouldn't you want to go on the second date? It's like, wow, this guy's very courteous. Obviously, I'm not expecting him to pay the next date as well, but this first impression of him is like, okay, he cares to take me out. As a woman, I feel like we're losing that ability to say, I like to be treated like a lady sometimes. I don't constantly want to be your roommate, your buddy, your best friend. We're losing that dynamic of man and woman relation. It's really sad, really sad. Before we kind of move on from this, let me ask you guys, what do you think? If you ask somebody out on a date, whether you're a man or you're a woman, do you automatically expect to pay, ladies? If you ask a guy out, let's say you're dating online. If you were like, hey, I'd like to get to know you, should we like hang out sometime? And then the guy's like, yeah, sure. Do you think because you asked him out that you should now pay? Because I really feel like that's where we're headed. Or men, if a lady asks you out, do you think she's taking you out, or like what's happening? I'm really curious as to what you guys have to say about this topic, because I think I've been so out of it for so long, but I talked to so many of my friends and we're living in such a strange time. So let me know down below what's going on today, like what's happening in the 2026 dating scene. My second point for this topic today, how do you guys face your dating world today? Like if you're somebody like me, I'm in my mid-20s, I'm in my later 20s, so if I were still in the dating scene now, I definitely would set some standards and kind of let the person know what I'm looking for specifically. So, or are you the type of person to kind of wait it out and just see how it goes? I personally think talking about finances early on in the relationship is a must. You don't know a person off the first date, so I think it's highly important to be like, hey, so how do you kind of see finances? Are you the type to want to take the lady out? Are you planning on a 50-50? If we end up moving together, are we doing 50-50 on the rent? Everyone has different expectations when it comes to money, and I feel like you learn that as you meet more people. Some people might just prefer a traditional relationship. You might just meet a man who wants to be the full-on provider and want the woman to be the caretaker. I shouldn't say caretaker. Oof, that's disgusting. No. Some men want to be the provider, whereas others are automatically like 50-50 for sure. 50-50 on everything. Dinner, rent, bills, everything, activities, 50-50. And look, just to cut in here, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but I just find it hilarious. Like, let's say you took your lady out to go bowling, or if you went out to play pool, or if you went to the movies, right? So let's say everything is 50-50. So basically I went out with you and I basically paid for my own movie. That's crazy. That's crazy. Don't get me wrong. I went 50-50 with my husband when we were dating a lot. We went 50-50 all the time. And I'm just saying, if you're in a place financially where you don't need to go 50-50, but you're still going 50-50, I think that's, for me at least, right? For me, guys, don't get offended. For me, now, I would not be with someone that made me go 50-50 on a movie, because that's a date. When you go to the movies, for example, that is a date. Now, if I'm paying for my bill, for the ticket, that's no longer a date. We're just friends, because I pay for myself obviously when I go out with my friends. So now we're just friends, right? You're taking away from that aspect of being in an intimate relationship. Your significant other is taking care of you, and for me, I find that it's the man's job to take care of the woman, so the woman should feel taken care of, and then vice versa. We'll take care of you in our own way, but as a man, you're financially covering things, which is being a provider. And I think that is the right way to do things. I'm not saying you have to pay for everything. We're living in very inflated times. Most of us are in relationships where both people work, and I get that. But if you're planning a date night, I personally don't think as a man you should allow your woman to pay for those dates. It's not going to feel like a date for you, women. And I don't care what you say down below in the comments, women. If you defend that you feel like you're on a date, sticking to the example of the movies, you know darn well you don't feel like you're on no date when you pay for your own movie ticket. Because come on, I think this is a topic you guys, or everybody in relationship, should have early on, is because you're setting the tone for the relationship. Let's say you do start off where you go on the first date, the man paid. Then you go on like a second date, you're still getting to know each other, and the man paid. And then the third and the fourth and the fifth. Say the guy actually is not financially in a place where he could be doing that, and his intention was not to continuously go and pay for everything. This is why you guys should 100% set that standard early, so it's not awkward as well. Because let's just say one day he's like paying for everything. He's like, listen, you know, I've been paying for things for this many times, and now it's really starting to make my credit card bill get out of roof. Now, as a lady, you're going to feel so awkward. You're going to be like, wait, what the hell? You were paying for things. You never said anything. How was I supposed to know, for example, right? So yes, 100%. I think maybe not necessarily on the first date per se, but at least by your second date, if you felt the need to go out with someone the second time, you kind of should have that conversation over dinner. If going forward, we're planning on seeing each other, let's kind of sit down and talk about the dynamic of the relationship. Today, I think that's so important, especially if you're someone younger watching this. Set the standard early. You know yourself. What do you want in a relationship? And if someone answers in a way that you're not gonna be committed to down the line and you know it may make you unhappy, I think it's good to just say good riddance early on instead of building this attachment to a person and then later finding out that they're a specific way, especially financially. Proper etiquette, just pay as a man for the first date to leave a good impression on the lady. And then of course, ladies, when you're out with the man, don't order everything. Like if you know the guy's gonna pay, don't order like excessive amounts of food. I've heard some crazy stories on social media where like girls just go out on the first date just to get free food, which is crazy. Get something light. Don't go somewhere so expensive. Get to know each other. And then obviously if you want more, ladies, get takeout for yourself if you're still hungry, because that's proper etiquette as well. I just want to leave you guys with 2 questions that I'm really curious about, and I hope you guys leave some comments down below so we can continue this discussion. Would you stop dating someone if they expect you to go 50-50? And really, is it old-fashioned now in today's age for a man to be courteous and pay for the first date? Like, is that outdated at this point? Do women just have high standards today compared to like what they had back when our parents were dating? The conversations we have today in 2026, like if you had this conversation back in the early 2000s, I really feel like people would be in shock. They're just looking at you like, why are you having this discussion? But today we have such a sensitive group of people, and I'm sure for good reason. You know, look at the state of the world, which I'm not really going to talk about, but I understand how we got here, but it's kind of like, how do we break out of it? Because there's still a level of gender roles that I believe, and I really believe that men and women have their roles in life. That is the case. That is how I feel, because obviously men are going to be better at some things. Men have to do certain things to make a woman feel light and soft. And I feel like because of how men are these days, they say men want to be treated like princesses today. So women are taking on this masculine identity, masculine role in relationships. And then, you know, sometimes men wonder, why is your lady so independent and strong and not budging? And well, it's because a lot of men are not willing to be manly anymore. They want the doors open for them. Like how often do you see men being courteous, opening the door for ladies, a man opening the door for his lady to get in the car, or getting her flowers spontaneously? Men don't do that. And I feel like women, we're just expected to do so much today. You're expected to cook, clean, they'll go 50-50 and XYZ things. So I really feel like men need to step up in this generation, and I can't believe that a topic like this is circulating. If you guys have any thoughts, really, I would love to hear what you have to say down below in the comments. If you guys stayed till now, I highly recommend you subscribe to the channel, so of course we can talk about this more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.